This is going to be such a fantastic show tonight here at the Register Wills office here. We are celebrating Women's History Month for the entire world, but more specifically, we're going to talk about women in business in Philadelphia. Within the next 25 to 30 years, $68 trillion worth of wealth is going to transfer from one generation to the next. The people that's going to be transferring this generational wealth are going to be women, because typically women outlive their husbands. One of the problems is we haven't been planning for this. If you don't have a will, there is likely to be some problems going down the line when your family has to come for your assets. If you had a business, they have to, either continue the business, close down the business, whatever they have to do the business. But the only way they can do that business is they have to have a document called a will. So when you die, whether you have business or assets, somebody that you told where the will was will have a will, get the will and bring it to my office. With the will, once it's verified, you'll be in and out within an hour. Your family will be able to conduct the business once you die, because somebody has to do it. If you don't leave a will, that's where the problems and the issues are going to come, because then somebody is going to have to know to come down to the Register of Wills to file papers to say that they are the heirs, but they have to prove it. And then it becomes complicated. So what's happening in Philadelphia, PA is we are not planning, preparing, or protecting our generational wealth. We are not making sure that in the event that I die, there are certain documents that my family or my heirs are going to need so they can kind of close your estate and then transfer the estate into the names of who you wanted those assets to go to, or who you want to continue your business. And as being the Register of Wills, the first woman within this last year, I'm finding more and more that women in particular, who are mostly heads of the households here in Philadelphia, PA, are not planning their estates. And as a result of that, we have thousands and thousands and thousands of tangled titles sitting here in Philadelphia. And so this series is about women, successful women here in the city of Philadelphia that own businesses, educated, and are doing really phenomenal things here in Philadelphia. I joined here with my co-host, Attorney Terry Booker, and also my solicitor, Attorney Sharon Wilson. Terry is my solicitor. So Terry did some research, and she's going to show you some statistics that's going on here. Thank you, Terry.
Oh, thank you, Madam Register, and good evening, everyone. As of 2014, more than 9.5 million firms were owned by women. That means they were employing about 7.9 million more people and generating $1.4 trillion in sales. In Philadelphia, the business income is only $1,200. The median business income for women is only $1,200, while the average business income is $15,000. Philadelphia ranked 90th out of 100 for the worst place for women to own business. And in Philly, we have 60% of children under 18 are living with female head of households. So that means that in Philly, we have a lot of women living in poverty. There are nearly 41,000 women-owned businesses in Philadelphia, but women own fewer than 40% of the city's businesses. So that's even though there are a lot, they still own less than half. It's even a greater pleasure to see all of you successful business women here in the city of Philadelphia. Madam Register.
Phenomenal women. Let's talk about Michelle Snow. I've known her for over 10 years. I remember when Michelle first started, just got started, just being like a motivational speaker. I always remembered Michelle as being bubbly, articulate, just, just classy. And when Ernie told me that we had a chance to bring her on this show, I was like, yes, we got to bring Michelle on this show. I'm so proud of you, Michelle. I've seen you grow over the years. I am very proud of you. There's your crown. You have really done a lot. Thank you.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Michelle is the president and executive consultant of multiple companies and founder of the new nonprofit Growth Together Snow Foundation. Michelle serves as an expert in leadership and professional development for educational institutions, corporations, and businesses. Michelle offers years of professional employment experience through national and multinational incorporation, including Pep Boys, Citizens Bank Corporate, Aramark Corporate, Merck Corporate. In the year 2021, Michelle Snow Company, LLC, officially became a certified minority-owned by EMSDC, PA, New Jersey, and Delaware. She's an alum of Pierce College right here in Philadelphia, where she received her bachelor's in business administration with a concentration in human resource. Michelle, how'd you do that? And this, how many years has been? Tell us your story, Michelle. Tell us your story.
I'm sitting here like a trip to Disney World. And if anybody knows me, Disney is by far one of my greatest vacation spots. I get the chance to be on this panel with truly not only Philadelphia's finest, but the world's finest. I remember being in a workshop and Donna Ali was one of the key presenters. And I was thinking, like, when I grow up, when did I grow up, Wow, my video is right next to hers, I made it! And Tracey, to everyone who is watching online, on video, replay, the queens that are here today, a big part of my success was because Tracey met me with her camera. If you all remember Tracey, she had a little red camera. And it wasn't just me with the camera. Tracey started it.
Yeah.
She would take pictures of everybody. And so she took a huge risk and took me to work with her, introduced me to her boss and her team. And I got my first paying contracts with the city of Philadelphia because Tracey took a risk on me. And so in 10 years, the thing about politics and the political world, sometimes you don't always agree. Sometimes you will have conflicts. Sometimes you might get downright mad with those in your community. But what I've always cherished about Madam Register is that she says, don't hold ever a permanent grudge. So I'm here because in the voice of former Councilwoman Blondell, I stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah, I hadn't even realized that you got your first contract because of me. I mean, I believed your pitch, and you're just polished. You're just polished.
Thank you.
So our next guest, her name is Angel Wolf. After graduating from Temple University with a bachelor's in film and media arts, Angela worked in-house at several videograph companies. In 2016, Angela quit the 9-to-5 to form her own production company, Angela Wolf Video, based in Philadelphia. AWV is a certified woman-owned video production company offering videograph and editing services. How did you get started, Angela? What made you just decide that you was just going to go out on your own and to start this company?
Well, as you mentioned, I started, I got my, I graduated, got my degree, and then started working in-house. And I kind of bounced around between a couple different companies and found that they all have the same kind of hole. They were all kind of missing, not just like the personal aspect of working with the clients, which is something I love to do, but I was the only woman in the room. And I felt like that really affected the work environment and how, I felt at the end of the day about what I was doing. And it just got to a point where I was like, I can do this better.
Listen, my father was a filmmaker, the late Jamal Fanaka, and he loved taking films. And his father gave him his first camera when he was like 6 years old. And I just always loved filming things. Like Michelle said, I had a little red camera because I always want people to capture themselves, at their best. So their imaging is so important for businesses, especially for women. And that's a business that, you always see men.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna ask you some questions, but let me introduce Kim Carter. Now, I heard about Kim Carter for years. For years, I heard about you. Everybody used to always, have you met Kim Carter? Have you met Kim Carter? And Kim, how long have you been actually doing this, your recovery business and your disaster planning recovery business? How long? Over 20 years, right?
So, over 20 years. So thank you, Madam Register. So this was exciting to me when I got the invitation, because actually I'm gonna have two lenses during this conversation.
Okay.
One is the lens of a previous business owner that owned a document management company that did on-site paper shredding, and like Angela, I was the only woman in the room and knew I could do it better. So that's one lens. And the second lens is that I work for a nonprofit named the Enterprise Center, and I help businesses all day, and particularly women businesses. And when I also got the invitation, when I saw Donna Ali's name, because I talk to Donna all the time, and she's one of my go-to people I lean on, when I have a question, because she's really good at giving advisement. So that's my two lenses, that I'm be talking through, during this discussion.
So Kim's professional experience includes owning successful 8A certified document management company named Disaster Planning and Recovery. She decided to transition to the nonprofit sector and begin working for the Enterprise Center in 2014, and she's currently a vice president of strategic partnerships. This opportunity allows Kim to facilitate community and economic development opportunities in West Philadelphia that support entrepreneurship. I always respected the Enterprise Center. Thank you for the shirt you sent me.
Oh,
Thank you. I was like, this was so nice. Thank you for that card. Did you get my letter back?
Yes. And thank you.
Yes.
You're so deserving. So
thank you. Yeah. So next up, Miss Donna Ali. Team Clean. You know the saying that they always say, pull yourself up out of your bootstraps. That's what I've always done. When I read your story, I was like, she really pulled herself. Let's found it in 1983. Team Clean, Inc. is a commercial janitorial service company in Philadelphia. Due mainly to the service focus and vision of its founder, president, CEO Donna L. Ali, PhD, the company enjoyed huge growth during its first 2 decades. By 1999, it was the 4th largest woman-owned business in Philadelphia, and the Wharton Small Business Development Center identified it as one of the fastest growing small businesses in that metropolitan area. My grandmother cleaned houses They called it days work.
That's right. That's right.
And after she retired, she went back to days work. And it just was like, she lived to be close to 90, but I just never thought to ask her about it. But it is a business.
Absolutely.
Team Clean's reputation grew, and in 1985, the company signed its first contract for commercial cleaning. You clean stadiums and everything, correct?
Yeah. Yes. Yep. That's how I got my start.
How did how did you just think? How did your vision just get bigger?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for having me, Madam Register. I know that I was trying to figure out, like, what do I call Tracey, Madam Register? But thank you very much for having me. And I just want to shout out to Michelle, who continues to motivate me, and Kim, who you say you lean on me, I lean on you, because you're giving me knowledge. And the Enterprise Center is one of the places that really helped me when I first got started. But like you said on my bio, I started out cleaning houses around the main line, down on my luck. Couldn't find a job in my vocation. My sorority sisters were laughing at me because they were all teachers, by the way. And so it just kind of, it grew from there. After the residential clean, I hired women from West Africa and send them out into teams of 2 all over the main line, got up to about 55 houses. In about 5 years, 55 houses a week. And then by the grace of God and by the grace of the city of Philadelphia, I entered into the program that was set up for minority and females and transitioned into commercial cleaning. And from there, I went on to specialize in event facility cleaning. And I went from the vet to Shea Stadium to Oriole Park at Camden Yards to the Convention Center and my most recent live casino. And so it's been it's been a real journey, and I thank God for all of you women here and all of the women that that helped me along, like Councilwoman Blondell and Marion, and I won't call out, I might forget some, but it's just been wonderful, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I just want to before I go and introduce my solicitor, she has helped me so much, just understanding just the legal process of everything. What you all are doing is just so unprecedented, but we need to talk about it and let other young women see that a lot of young women have a lot of business ideas. They just don't know where to go, or they just don't want to take the dare. Like Angela said, she just looked around and was like, it's all guys here, like, I can do this. Kim said, I can do it better, Michelle's like, well, I can help people, with their images. And if we show other young women these type of images, because that's why I have John here, we're going to tape this and make sure other people see this so they can actually see that there are women here in Philadelphia that dared to take their, idea of a business and run it so professionally like this. Sharon has been one of the ones that helped me understand just all the legal processes that we as women need to do, as far as not even our own personal household, but if we have businesses. And so Sharon, tell them something about what they need to understand, the audience, about just the legality of being a woman and running her own business.
I'm not going to talk too much today, Register, because look, I'm in the presence of the people that know. I'm just going to give me some popcorn and listen.
Yeah.
Look, I opened my own law practice in 1988. It's growing strong. It's helped me very much. It's successful enough for me to step away so I can help somebody that I want to help at the Register of Wills. And I know that there's still more to learn. In terms of the legality of business, women don't have any other legal restrictions or that they need to take care of that a man doesn't. What women need to do is just continue to be the best. And it's obvious that we are. When Terry read those initial statistics about how hard women are having it. And then y'all come on here like a burst of sunshine. Yeah, but we still here. And so I'm just going to sit back and listen. And I just want to encourage the audience to do the same. This is a fantastic gathering, and I'm happy to be here in my capacity as solicitor for the Register of Wills. Yes, I do help the register understand what the legal implications are of the things that we do. But more than that, I get to participate in something like this, where, you know, I'd be in the audience if I wasn't sitting next to y'all here.
Ms. Snow. So sometimes it can be hard to take care of all your financial responsibilities, even if you have like a good job. What inspired you to go from being an employee to an employer, Michelle? What made you just say, listen, I think I'll do better as an employer?
Fortunately, in my last two jobs, I was working in human resources and I was working in training and development. So I discovered what I was born to do, which is help people, develop folks from the inside out, help people to see their power and their super strengths as a professional. And I knew that I was onto something, just like Facebook. He didn't know what it was, but this thing of engaging people, it was something. So the challenge, though, that I had was I'm quirky, you know. I am informal, and my boss one time called me into his office and said, you know, you are an enigma. Now the truth is, I didn't know what an enigma was, and I thought he was saying something else.
Okay.
Okay. Right?
Yes.
What he was trying to say was, you know, you're so different and out of the box. You meet the expectations. We just don't know what to do with you because you knock out what we asked you to do, but you're so unique. We just don't even know how to really manage you. And while that's not something comfortable, madam, that's not comfortable. It did not feel like a compliment. People telling you, we value you, but we just don't know what you are.
Right.
And so in the midst of me looking to embrace that I was unique and maybe not born for traditional workplaces because I didn't have joy. I didn't have peace of mind. And unfortunately, madam, I developed stomach migraines. I was always sick at work. Which was the birthing of sarcoidosis. So I had to give you that background because the question is, why did I come from employee to employer? Mm-hmm. So I found the sweet spot, but I wasn't doing it in the right place. So it's like I had the coolest job working in the greatest stadium because I did work at Aramark. So that was part of the business. I like the coolest job in this greatest stadium, but I still felt trapped. Like I wanted to do cross country. And so with that, I realized that I would be healthier, happier, and more fulfilled if I could make decisions for myself to help others. And so I'll climax this by saying, madam, that decision was extremely difficult. It was painful. It caused a lot of brokenness and broke days, a lot of isolation and tears. But I knew that while I found the thing that I was good at, I was not good at it being confined to one role in one place in one location. I would be more effective if I was able to serve me up in a broad-based way. So that was, quite frankly, the start. And so now here we are, 8 years later. Oh my gosh.
8 years?
Good God, right?
And what name some of the companies you're working with? What are you doing? What do you do for them, Michelle?
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of working with very large companies as well as small companies, as well as colleges and universities. Some of my favorites in the colleges were Eastern University. We've done some work with Cheney University, with at Drexel. We've worked with a lot of high schools, and we've worked with hotels such as the Hampton Inn and Sonesta. But people know me more so for all of those mom and pop relationships. And so as I do my best to wrap this up, as I know my time is limited here, the challenge was people saw my personal struggle, that I was doing great work. People were benefiting from the services. We were getting rave reviews, but we didn't always financially win. And so people said, Madam, man, get rid of those little people. What do you keep working with those little guys for? Like, they're killing you.
Right.
And the truth is, Miss Ali, sometimes they were. You know, it wasn't easy getting the $100 after you had just slaved.
Yes.
But here's why I balanced it. Now we do large, medium, and small. I did not give up the little guy. Again, coming from employee to employer,
Mhm.
I just felt the most fulfilled. And that's something that we as business owners need to be mindful of as we grow. Yeah, we've got to have the bank accounts. We've got to have the money. We have to have the contract. It's called business.
Right.
You need to have peace. You need to be able to sleep at night. You need to be able to pick up your phone and have a good time with your client. And I said peace and people over everything. So I'm going to stop here because I don't want to.
You said peace and people over everything. Hey, listen, so you just said, in other words, you said self-preservation, woosah. That's what you said.
That is what I said.
Angela, so how difficult is it for a woman to start a business in a male-dominated industry, and how did you overcome those obstacles, if you had any at all?
Just a few, as I'm sure everyone here can attest to. There's little things when you're working in an industry that's male dominated, like the uniforms for being a videographer. Typically it's a black polo and black jeans, and they're made for men. You know, there just aren't. I've gone crazy looking for just a black polo to wear to my shoots, you know, and they just don't make them in women's sizes. They don't make pockets big enough for me to put my batteries in, you know, and things like that are the little things. Or there's terminology like cameraman, best boy, you know, where it's just kind of already gendered and already kind of exclusive. But then, of course, there's the bigger things, right? Where you walk into a room, and as we all talked about, you know, you're the only woman there. And then instantly everyone assumes they know more than you, you know? And, you know, I've had.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone here has a million examples of, you know, you
First
show
thing you
up.
say, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Exactly. And, you know, it's such a balance too, where you don't want to necessarily burn any bridges, but at the same time, you have to speak up for yourself, and you have to, you know, let people know I know what I'm doing. You know, you don't have to talk down to me. You don't have to try and hold my hand or tell me I'm doing it wrong. You know, I know what I'm here for. I got hired for a reason, you know? And so it's kind of like a weird balance, I think, as a woman in a male dominated industry. So it's one of those kind of things where you're try to talk a little bit louder, right? And work on standing your ground. And I think imposter syndrome is such a huge thing that many women face, and I just think it's amplified when you are in an industry that has mostly men. And so to try and those are some of my biggest obstacles to overcome, because my business is Angela Wolf Videos, so I automatically kind of call out any clients that might immediately not want to work with me because my name's in the title. They know it's a woman-owned business, right? So I kind of don't have to even entertain those clients. So all the clients I have are very open to working with women. But some of the things that are more subtle or subconscious that people just don't even realize they have certain biases.
Yeah.
And so
and sometimes it feels like bullying, sometimes like little subtle bullying, you know?
Yes.
And you're like, you know, I know what I'm doing.
Yes, absolutely.
So what are some of the productions you've done in Philly that we may have seen and didn't know it was Angela Wolf?
So I work with companies making branded videos. So I've done some large projects for like nationwide companies doing like internal training videos. I've worked with, Drexel doing PR videos for them to make some of like the different announcements of the projects that they work on, like the skyscraper games and some of their other really fun projects. And I work with law company, law firms doing blogs and podcasts for them so that they can get their message out to people about, the importance of different types of law. So I get to do a lot of different things and learn about a lot of different things in the process, which is really cool.
And also you can work from your house. How's it been since the pandemic?
So before the pandemic, I did about 50-50 where I would go on site and do filming, and then I would do all the editing at home. And that kind of shifted, of course, where most of my work is editing now. I do video consulting. So I'll work with clients virtually to help them, set up their lighting, set up a microphone, and then they send me the footage and I'll do the editing. And I've also taken COVID safety compliance classes. I'm COVID Safe Set certified, so that going back, adding those shoots back into my schedule, I'm making sure to do it in a safe, socially distant way.
Excellent, excellent. Kim, how did you transcend when the COVID hit within the last year? How did y'all convert over?
Yeah. So when COVID first happened in March, 2020, we all transitioned to remote work, remote virtual work. And all of the programs that we were delivering to our clients all transitioned to being virtual programs, which was pretty easy for us to do because we have multiple platforms to be able to do that. And that was pretty successful for us. So yeah, it was easy.
You found the programs are working good remotely?
Yeah, they are. They're working good.
I do too.
Yeah.
When we converted, we're doing, and I'm glad. So even when it do go back, and we pray that it do, that we can still do both. You know what I mean?
Same for us, Madam Register. We're going to have a hybrid going forward of virtual and in-person programs because it works so well. And we noticed that with virtual programs, we expanded our reach. So now we are reaching more people.
More people
are able to operate virtually,
and especially younger. You get the younger people because they had the gadgets and everything.
Yes.
I'm glad y'all started right. We started right away in March. Y'all started right away as well.
We started right away as well. Some of our clients that are in the food industry, we found them to be struggling the most because they weren't. Well, first of all, it's the food industry, and if you wasn't set up to deal with multiple food service platforms like DoorDash and Grubhub and all those things, then you probably struggled a lot, or you may possibly be out of business.
Yeah.
The restaurants who were prepared who are already working with those food service platforms, they were more successful because it was easy for them to transition from in-person dining to takeout dining. So our food clients probably suffered the most. Yeah. But I also want to mention about.
I was going to say, go ahead. I'm sorry. I wanted you to tell us about the Enterprise Center because I just think it's amazing.
Yeah. Yep. So the Enterprise Center has been around for 30 years, and our mission for the last 30 years has not changed, and it has been supporting minority and women-owned business. And we did it under 3 umbrellas, and the umbrellas are business, capital, and community. So under the business umbrella, that's where we provide our programming and technical assistance programs to help small businesses grow and scale. And that could be a program, it could be a certification program, it could be a program on your marketing, your social media, like different programs to help grow and scale your business. Under our capital umbrella, we are actually a CDFI. So we are a bank, a lender, a community bank.
Really?
So we have been, so as an organization, we have pivoted. Since March 2020, we have been doing PPP loans The whole organization has been doing PPP loans constantly.
Tell them what the PPP loans, if anybody in the audience, tell them what that loan is.
Yep. So it's a federally funded program under the CARES Act, and it's a payroll protection program. And even if you're a small business, but even if you are a sole proprietor, even if you are a gig worker, you may do Uber, even if you are a person, because we have a lot of businesses, and we call them underground businesses. They are legitimate businesses, but they work from their home. Like they may bake from their home or sell cupcakes or, do balloon displays. So a lot of those businesses didn't think that they were eligible to qualify for the Paycheck Protection Program, but they actually are, and it's still going on to March. So if you are a business and you haven't had the PPP loan, or you haven't had the second round of the PPP loan, or a business who doesn't think they qualify, please have them reach out to us. We don't want to leave any money on the table. The federal government doesn't need any money.
You don't want to send no money back.
Yeah, we don't want to leave any money on the table. So we're actually processing them at the Enterprise Center. So if you have someone, please send them to us. They can go to the local bank if they have a bank, but if they don't have a bank, we will be more than happy to service them.
And your office is located 46. Oh, is it 46?
4548? Yep, 4548 Market Street. But again, everything is virtual. So if you go to our website, theenterprisecenter.com, you can access all the information, about our services. Yeah. Yep.
So Kim, how do you think being a businesswoman will impact a woman's ability to produce generational wealth for her family?
So wonderful question. So firstly, I want to say that, and it's a saying, and I think we all have heard it. When you educate a woman, you educate a family, right? And as a business owner, as being a business owner, you are a great role model for your family. And business owners normally teach their family and their family members, how to run and operate and grow a business, because they're actually watching her doing it. And she normally brings in her family members to help her along with the business.
Right.
So having a business definitely can create generational wealth, but you have to have things in order. So you have to be legitimately set up as a business. You have to have your paperwork in order. That's the number one thing I want to stress. Like, be incorporated, file your taxes, just have your paperwork in order. And also have your personal credit in order. And you need to have your business credit in order, because they're completely separate. So you just have to have some basic things set up just to be a successful businesswoman. But also you have to succession planning. Like Madam Register was saying, like succession planning for businesses is so important. And most businesses, I can tell you, most businesses in our community don't have succession planning. And so when something happens to them, they, the business, they go out of business. So we have to stop that. So we have to first legitimize our businesses, because we have a lot of sisters out here doing amazing things, but they're not getting paid what they're worth. That happens all the time. And B, they're not, their business is not legitimized, so they can pay taxes and really establish themselves and grow and scale. And you have to have everything set up so you'll be able to grow and scale. Secondly, once you do all that, and your credit is in order, and you're able to access capital through traditional banking avenues, you have to make sure that you do have your documentation and paperwork set up. So if something happens to you, your business can still go on. And hopefully your kids can run your business. Or if you don't have anyone to leave your business to, you can scale your business, because you really should create and grow a business so you can exit. And that exit could be leaving it to someone in your family, or exiting it through a big sale. So
yeah, I just don't understand because when I grew up, we owned all the businesses on every corner, the avenues too, and I just don't know where, I know they said they send their kids to college and then they didn't want to come back to the business. But I used to think this, and I don't know if Donna, if you ever thought this as well. I used to think you know, why would you leave it to somebody else then? If your kids don't, or you know, let them manage it and then pay your kids something. I don't I'm looking for some programs at the Register of Wills, you know, where we can get people talking about that type of protection, protecting their business. And that's simply just making a will so people will know just in case something happens, you know? And I just was wondering with like you said, with your business, you a lot of people are running business, but they don't want to they don't want the paperwork part. And you
It's
know,
important to have that set up, because even if you should grow your business to for sale, like, you know, even if you don't sell it, but you still should, that
Okay.
still should be your goal, not to sell it, but to grow
Oh.
it, so you can either leave it to your children if they want it, but if they don't, then someone else can buy it.
selling it.
Because your children may not want it, and that's fine. But at least if you're able to sell your business, that's creating generational wealth for your children. So you really have to, you know, have that in your back of your mind, you know, at all times about growing your business. But your paperwork has to be in order, and you have to have, you know, like some sort of succession plan so these things can manifest themselves. And
And
one
you know,
other thing I
Kim,
want to register, I
and
want to
Kim, can I say
mention.
one thing about
yeah.
what you just mentioned? The succession planning is important. And the register was saying it's hard. Why would you leave your business to family? Sometimes family has a front row seat to see how you run business. And that means they don't want to be in that business.
Oh yeah.
So you have to not only run your business, but
That's
you
true.
make sure it's running well, that is something that looks manageable,
Yes.
something that looks like a path toward accessing wealth and generational wealth, and not something that looks like it's going to be a headache.
Right. Interesting.
Yes.
Donna, do you have relatives running,
Um,
you know, are they part of your business as well?
Yeah, I do have relatives that work in the business, but none of them are interested in taking over the business. And just like Sharon said, they're not interested. It would be a big headache for them. And so I do have family members. Now, I was blessed because earlier on, I had a very, very good financial advisor. And my accountant sat me down and he told me, he said, Donna, there's two things my job is. My job is to keep you out of trouble with the IRS and to make you wealthy. And I looked at him and I said, me, wealthy? Because, you know, I'm hustling. I just got this little business, you know, and in my mind, I could not perceive being wealthy. I couldn't even perceive being rich. And there's a difference between being rich and wealthy, right? Okay. So I learned early on about 401ks, stocks, bonds, real estate, and investment. I had a financial advisor that took me through everything. And I'm a good listener. I listened.
Okay.
I then, you know, engaged a lawyer probably about 12 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. And I set up my will and my trust fund. When I set up my will and my trust fund, I left it, you know, I let it go for maybe about 3 years. Since things started changing in my life, and I said, you know what, I better go back and visit this again. So since then, I've been visiting it every 2 years because, like I told you before, madam, life happens, stuff happens. You know, along the road, I have a special needs grandson, and I had to set up a special needs trust for him. I had to make sure that now, unfortunately, my things changed again. I have a situation where my husband has dementia. So I had to set up another trust to take care of that. So things happen. And I'm so glad, I am so glad that you're having this forum on plan, prepare, and protect, because that's exactly what I did. Now, protect, I'm hoping that it goes.
You're hoping, right?
You just don't know after you go to sleep. But I did plan and prepare to the best of my ability. Now, if I sell the business, you know, and my family, if I sell the business, like Kim said, or if I plan on, you know, my daughter decides that she wants to take it on, I know that I'm in good shape. My trust is set up. You know, if I sell it, I got it so that my daughter will, you know, and my stepchildren will reap the benefits. So I think that I've taken care of business and I've laid the foundation. What they do after that is up to them.
You have to plan, because once you die, they're not going to get along. And
Yeah.
sometimes people, like we tell people, you have special needs family members, you need to, I would want to make sure that this kid is taken care of.
Yeah, you know, I had a conversation with one when I was doing the houses. I did houses for very wealthy mainliners and cleaned their houses. And I sat down and I talked to this lady, and I'll never forget the story that she told me when her husband had passed away, and he took care of all the bills. He took care of everything. She would not deal with anything financial. So when he passed away, you know, she was frightened, and she had a lot to deal with. And she would not touch it. She would not do anything. And so what happened was the state, and I think Sharon, you could probably say the state had taken over all of her assets and everything that she had. And so, you know, it was a mess, a big mess, but she was actually paralyzed because she was afraid of the finances. She could do everything else, but the finances she couldn't deal with. And it was a terrible story. Sometimes women are afraid.
We are afraid. People and women are afraid to, you know, because people depend on us all the time, and because people depend on us, and we just always want to just make sure that we're supporting them, but we're not protecting ourselves by putting things in writing. You know, this is the conversations that I want us to start having as women. I want you all to get some closing comments on, how you was able to manage through the pandemic, and what do you look forward to coming up, this summer? What are y'all looking up forward to coming up? We can start with Michelle.
So the first question was, how did we get through the pandemic, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure that my story is similar to a lot of people with great fear. In the beginning, every contract we had was live and organic. It was on site. It was in person. All this personality, people wanted it on their site to motivate, empower, and to impact their leadership for greatness. So this whole digital thing, we couldn't put in a box, right? Right. So we lost everything, right? And so at that point, I had to, as the visionary, make a decision. Are we going to just let it all go? And I said, no, it's been way too much investment. So in that, we were forced to really take technology very seriously, be uncomfortable, and lose, right? And lose with a greater picture in mind. Yeah. And I'm grateful to say that we buckled down, went through the very scary, hard times, and now officially we do have a nonprofit charitable organization where we can take our passion and our love to see people thrive and help them through this organization. We built an additional company. So Michelle Snow Company LLC has the history and the certifications, but now we've got Grow with Snow LLC, where we can with the smaller guy and separate them too. So if corporate, or if you're smaller, we can put you in your proper place. And so what we are looking forward to now is, now that we're 8 years old, I know I say that 3 times.
Yes. Yes. Congratulations.
It's a number of change. It's God's given number to us to identify change. Yes. And so I'm looking for more platforms like this and more leaders to love on and support and grow. We just started working with United Bank. God bless Mrs. Chappelle.
Chappelle, may she rest in peace. Yes.
Legacy. Yeah. So I'm
brilliant woman.
Oh, wait. In my last 4 seconds, shout out to Ernie Bristow for picking us. Thank you, Ernie. Thank you.
Ernie knows everybody. That's what we brought her on. Yes. That's the outreach, she knows where to go. Kim, how about you with the pandemic and what are you looking forward to this summer coming up?
I'm just looking forward to human touch, actually. I just can't wait to be in spaces with people. So I'm looking
Me
forward
too.
to that. And just for my last words, I want to stress again, the PPP. It's important that businesses don't leave money on the table. So if you have any businesses, just please have them go to their bank, go to another CDFI, or contact the Enterprise Center. That's it. Thank you.
How about you, Angela? What you look forward to?
I'm really excited, I think, as everyone is, to kind of get back to physically working with other people instead of it just being virtual. But I think what's really cool about the video industry is that so many companies have realized that video is so important, especially in reaching out. And now you can reach, you want to still keep those local in-person communications, but now with video and Zoom, we can reach people nationwide. And so I'm really excited to be working with
Yes.
more companies and more, small businesses, helping them grow from maybe doing just local live events to doing a hybrid of local and then live streaming it, and growing now that we've all been forced into a digital world. So I think
Yes.
it'll be really fun to have this explosion of we can be in person, but we still have this infrastructure of expanding.
And I'm loving the virtual because it's safer.
Yep.
I mean, it's more comfortable. You can have your little footsies on, and then
Yes.
also as well, you can get more business now that you're doing your virtual stuff, right?
Absolutely. I work with a podcaster who before filmed everything locally and live with all their guests coming into the studio. Well,
Mhm.
can't do that now. And so suddenly they went from only working with Philly and New York clients to working internationally. They've interviewed people from Ireland and Canada. And suddenly, this podcast that was very local now gets to be international. And so I think that's really if there's a little bit of an upside from this horrible year we've all had,
Oh,
is that
gosh.
we're learning there's more ways to grow smaller businesses, that you don't need to open up 5 different, headquarters around
Right.
the United
Yes.
States. You can still be centered in Philly, but have
Well,
a larger
maybe
reach.
some of the rent will go down. Maybe
Yeah,
some of the
right.
rent may go down.
Hopefully.
As people are working from their home. How about you, Donna?
Well, it's been kind of bittersweet for me. I'm in the cleaning business, so I've picked up a
Right.
tremendous amount of business, but it's been very sad. But I am looking forward to things getting back to normal. A lot of my commercial, buildings have closed down.
Oh,
But
that's
then
right.
again, I picked up on the COVID cleaning. But I'm just, I just want people to get back to work and things to be normal, and to God bless us all.
Yeah, because you got a lot of extra work, didn't you, with
Yeah.
the COVID cleaning?
Yes.
Is I think they're going to keep COVID cleaning. I don't think they're going to stop that. Do you?
Yeah. No, I don't think so either. We have always done infectious disease cleaning, like
Mhm.
MRSA and staph infections and things of that sort. So, but this COVID thing was a whole another ball game. But I think that is people are going to continue to be safe, to practice, good habits in cleaning, and I think we'll all be better for it.
I think we'll be better for it as well. Um, Lastly, quick plug, Kim. Tell them how to get in touch with the Enterprise Center again.
www.theenterprisecenter.com.
And
Type
Angela,
it in the chat.
how do they contact your business?
If you just go to www.angelawolfvideo, wolf like the animal, and you can find me there.
Michelle?
growwithsnow.com.
Donna? Your contact.
Oh, my contact is
Website.
my website is www.team-clean.com.
I'd like to thank you all. Happy Women's History. We just made history. This is the first ever Women in Business show in the history of Philadelphia Register of Wills. Thank you, Ms. Carter, Ms. Wolf, Ms. Snow. Thank you, everybody, Ms. Alley. I am so proud of you all. just to just talk to the women in the community, to give them inspiration to, you know, be inspired. Like Michelle said, I just didn't fit in being an employee. And, you know, Donna, you took your, you know, just something that you was doing because you had to take care of your family and said, I can develop a business. You know, Kim is now over there just helping people, especially during this pandemic. That PPP, like a lot of people don't know that. I know my daughter did you all get it? Or if you, I mean, everybody should be applying for this. We're gonna put it on our website, and anything you all want us to put up, you think that will inspire people in their generational wealth, you can send it to Mark and we'll review it. Thank you all and have a good night.
It was really
Thank
nice.
you, Madam Register.
Register,
Thank
thank
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.